What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the match play for round 4 against FlowingJuffowup. I think what you see on screen right now is going to be my Game 1 team. Still haven't fully decided yet. I mean, this is really tricky, not really knowing what my opponent's going to bring, not really knowing exactly how my team is going to function. I do think this is going to be something where I very well could be switching like I'm on every single game. I don't know when I want to try to maybe bring out the Dark Toad and Fungi. Like, should I go for this game 1 like I've done with my debuff comps in the past and see if I can get a cheeky game off of it? Do I try this in like game 2 or game 3? I don't know. Like maybe he can't answer this. Maybe he doesn't think I'm bringing a debuff comp because he doesn't see enough density. It's all really, really weird. I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty much the long and the short of it. I think if I do start like the dark pair here, I'm probably trying to bring like Dark Reduga as a second DPS because it's pretty independent of whatever I bring. It's fairly self-sufficient in like buffing itself up and getting going because it just needs to start critting to get buffs and spread buffs around. And then more than likely I put Rathops in and I take out Caraglow, Blade Widow, Keelan, Sizzle Knight. And maybe I should do that as game 1 to see what my opponent is bringing and to kind of get an idea for like what I might need to deal with. It also hides how much I'm investing in my own charge nonsense, as I'm not really showing any of my charge synergy. I've benched it all. And then if this overperforms and just like routes him, then I'm putting Juff in this situation where Juff needs to answer this before I really need to switch. And if Juff can't answer that, then maybe this team just 3-0s him. I don't know. And if this team does not hold up, then I just show charge in game 2. And we go from there. Although having one less game to figure out charge is potentially detrimental to me, but hey, this is all about learning. And I've never really built around a mana potential mon before, so we're learning. Yeah, we want Force of Nature here, as Juff has 4 water resistant mons, so I really do not want to do Bubble Deluge. So yeah, this gives me 2 self-sufficient DPS mons. Oh, what is your weapon? Trident? I was thinking about stacking a little bit of personal survivability on the Rathops here for another Purifying Mace. I am running... Yeah, okay, never mind. I'm running Purifying Mace on the DPS Toad here, since it's not really a crit monster. Just for the extra utility off of the DPS slot. So I do think I'll stick with this setup. Okay. So yeah, let's try this for game 1, because I think I think this is probably the most out of left field for my draft. Because like Fungi is really the one mon that kind of stands out as like, what am I doing with this mon if it shows up? And on top of that, like, there's so much obvious charge synergy that I think this is the best way to approach game one. So let's hit the GLHFs in the chat and let's put the code in. All right, well, we see full aquatic with a spinner. Brullish and UCAN definitely brings the bleed that I heavily expected. I expected to see Nautilid. Spinner DPS makes sense. Going second here is somewhat beneficial to me because I can try to zero out the spinner. Magic weak, okay. I think we're just going all in on the spinner here. That was pretty good poison. Not really the damage I'm looking for off of my Toad yet, though. I think we're just going to save cast for now. Protect my charge stacks. It's a hell of a shield to get through. Oh boy. Might be targeting down the fungi first. Which I'm glad I put a little bit of extra durability into the fungi here. That's still not really good enough. I mean, pressuring the shield is probably preferable, though. Jesus. I don't even have blind stacks on me. Come on. God, I love Spell Shield and Agility so much. Missed chances are just such a fun game. A fun mechanic in what's supposed to be a skill-based game. Ah. Alright, well, 2 antidote actions is, something, I guess. I think I go full restore here. Only got a few poisons, so I think we're gonna pivot away from the spinner and let's start getting the other stuff down. Maybe we can go around the spinner. I do feel like I'm in a pretty advantageous position if I get the spinner down, though, because it is absolutely the best DPS on the team. I have a feeling Brawlish is probably sitting in the back as the secondary DPS, but... Alright, my frog was in the mood for some crab. I do not like leaving Spinner in the back. I want Bleed out of the equation. I feel like Bleed Out being gone just makes my life so much easier, but I really just do not have the luxury to go for that setup of a spinner right now. I also probably need to try to start getting this Nautilus out of here. That was terrible proliferate. Definitely a weird tempo to the game so far. Ooh, okay, we hang on. Big survival. Curse Chain doing absolutely nothing for me. So it seems that there are no restoring ones anywhere in Juff's comp so far. I'm wondering if the Toxicu might... Well, no, it's a Dark Shift Toxicu, so it's debuff mastery. We got a lot of pressure on the Nautilus right now. I'm worried about this Koi, though, because it's heal charging. How does Spinner have all these charge stacks and is constantly recycling them? Interesting. I think I'm just gonna let this Arcane Obliteration rip to start with here. Knock off some buffs. I can damn near kill this Koi, but... The koi doesn't have any poison. Ah! So close. I think that was the correct play since the koi had no poison on it. I don't know how to get poisons onto the other team now. That is a bit of a conundrum with my frog. Now that fungi is gone, I don't know how I really apply poison. I think frog can do it a little bit himself, but holy, okay, we have a problem. Wowie. We have a... Houston, we have a problem. Oh. Okay. Yeah, the debuffs are not reliable anymore, so this Reduga in the back is turning into my win condition now. Holy crap. Jesus, okay. Alright, well that's one problem solved. Can I protect this Reduga enough for it to sweep? I don't know if the answer is yes. I don't think the answer is yes. When Nautilate is doing half of its health and damage. And there goes Tanuki. Granted, it's a lot later this time. And the bleed, yep. Okay. Alright, so, needless to say, that did not go super well. Definitely overlooked the fact that I have no ways to apply poison once fungi is gone. But yeah, that was still more of a game than I expected it to be. So I think it's time to go charging. The question is just... where exactly are we going with this? Do I have a good way to get Promethean buffs on turn 1? I can get random buffs, I guess? I don't really have good target. Like, I am all random buffs in this comp. I also didn't see an aggressive amount of... I guess I saw bleed and, like, spinner, and that's about it. So... I'm maybe slightly baited into feeling like this toad isn't... or the Tanuki isn't, like, hyper mandatory. I think the Keelan is good. I'm gonna go Tanuki list this round. And I think I want to lead Rathops, Toad, Promethean. With Keelan, Blade Widow, Ascendant in the back. Or maybe it's... Maybe it's this. That way I have more damage dealers. Now, with Promethean, I think I want to go second. So that way, I can try to set up a turn 1 absolute blast. In which case, do I actually want to lead Rathops? Rathops would be good for the turns following. Ascending could also be good by getting Spell Shield up, depending on who we're leading. Spinner's hybrid. And Ascendant can also apply some charge stacks too. Yeah, I think we might go... We might go Toad, Ascendant as my lead. And then Promethean. And then have Rathops able to come in. I'm not sure about this one, but it's all about learning. I am firmly expecting to lose this match because it's Juff. Juff is one of the short list of people I don't want to see in the tournament when it's my first time out. And yeah. I fully expect to lose this. I will probably drop after that so that hopefully there will be an even amount of players for the last round and somebody won't have a bye, because I'm about to be getting a bit busier for the next few weeks with the new Path of Exile League coming out and a bunch of other stuff. My birthday's coming up too, so just getting some time off. Alright, so we also pivoted even after a win. And now we have the annoying stuff that I don't like. Azarak and Spinner and Brutus. Okay. Now I wish I had my Tanuki. I'm still gonna go for it. I don't know if it's correct. So we're just gonna get some nice defensive buffs up on turn 1. Three blinds. Oh my god! And I'm almost dead. Cool. Alright, well, we got one blind to deal with. I'm probably gonna go for it anyways, because I feel like I have to. Damage feels supremely underwhelming, given that I also have a sorcery stack. Nice. Okay, cool. I did my thing, and it accomplished absolutely 0. Hell yeah, love that. Man, who thought giving Azarak buff steal would be a smart idea? So there's one thing Azarak doesn't need, it's buff steal. Am I blind? I'm not blind. Okay, so I can actually let this rip. But Promethean literally got one shot last turn. My opponent barely has any buffs up and is already just like ripping through my team like it's no problem. Electrocute would be great if I could hit it. Go. Oh, yeah, I'm blind now. Okay, cool. So I have to go for... Lightning punches isn't even that effective. Yeah. Boy, howdy is Azarak fun. I love Mischance. What a great mechanic. I wish I could see the board layout. Okay, there's a decent amount of shocks in play. The issue is, like everything else, I'm already dealing with, like, way too much dodge chance, so... And there's, like, one buff in play for dodge chance. Like, this is kind of insane. Now, they say Spinner should be dead with the bleed stacks. I don't know that I can carry this through, though. Oh, now the monkey shows up? Okay. So I need to zero this monkey hella fast. Will I be able to? I have no clue. I assume this is just going to be a setup for next turn. No, he already can come in and one-shot me. Okay. Sure. Why not? He doesn't have any defensive buffs, so... I mean, I think I just have to let it loose and hope for the best. I don't like my scenario here, but that's what happens when you're dealing with an Azarac. The constant mischance. The literal best mechanic in the game, and I'm definitely being sarcastic. This is not a mechanic balanced for PvP in any stretch of the imagination. And now I don't think I can win. Yeah, like this... We're never hitting for enough damage off of Ascendant. I mean, I'll give it the old college try, but I have the lowest of expectations here, considering that all 3 of my damage dealers went down in like a single turn. God, Nautilid plus Azarac is really dumb. Good lord. My god. That's not even close to doing enough to matter. I don't know that I can stall this out enough to get any meaningful kills. Yeah, especially not with an AoE ultimate. That just puts me into immediate panic mode. Even if I can recover fairly well. Yeah, that damage is like so meaningless. Okay, I mean, crits kind of went hard there. So you're saying there's a chance? I guess. Can I weather one more turn? Because now we're in basically 3v3 supports. So, if I can maybe zero the koi out. Never mind. The clock on this game just got a lot shorter. With me not having one of my mons anymore. And I don't think, yeah, neither of these have revive. So I just need to try to push through this, but that's all my charge stack's gone. Meaning I probably don't have lethal damage output anymore. This ended up being closer than I thought it would be. If Azrak wasn't an utter piece of garbage, we might have a chance. And now it's just Ascendant versus the world. And I don't think the world is giving up. Or, I mean, I don't think the world is going to lose there, so. Alright. Promethean feels like a gimmick that didn't work very well, so not a big fan there. Clearly I need the Tanuki. Because my opponent is definitely stack abusing. Blade Widow and Sizzle Knight definitely output a ton of damage. Rathops felt fine. Toad felt great. Ascendant, I'm still unsure of. I feel like Ascendant is fine. I don't... Does Caraglow... Caraglow offers me Maneki, which would allow the... And it also offers me Gift of Life. Granted, Gift of Life will probably never come up because you should more than likely on-site the Caraglow when if it comes out last, because it's going to be looking for a revive play. And at bare minimum, you shouldn't allow it to be the last mon standing so that it can leverage Gift of Life. Maybe it's Keelan? Keelan offers me some extra cleanse, too. Or, not really. It just offers me punishing when I do cleanse. Which Ascendant already has that. Applies a debuff, gets charge stacks. My DPS don't really apply debuffs that well. Like, maybe it's one of the Redugas? Light Shift Reduga is buff mastery, and it's basically just buffing. It's also Maneki, though. Like, Ascendant is interesting, but I don't think I have enough synergy with it. Although it is my only source of, like, buff reduction. And it is synergy with, yeah, Blade Widow and Sizzle Knight are both warriors. So giving them both extra might and glory will help. And Tanuki being here, but this isn't the Tanuki that Maneki is. This is... I feel like I need the... Do I have another Light Shift Tanuki from earlier that is the full support setup? That looks right, except it doesn't have shielding leaves, which is fine because I basically never click that. Oh, what the hell is this gold sense? Ew. Alright, well, if that's the case, I'll just respec this Tanuki. Pardon me one moment while I open MS Paint so I can screen cap this and redo this with Maneki. Because I think I'm gonna want Maneki here. I might just have to go a little squishier on the Tanuki, which did punish me before, but I've got other durability supports around it this time, so it might not be as bad. I don't think I can get all of the, all the mana ups that I want. Yeah, so that was the nice thing, was that the non-crit Tanuki got to stack a bunch of extra magic. I'd probably go Bead Chain because I would like crit chance, but I would also like to keep the mana regen higher. There are random debuffs and chills coming at me. It's probably Coat, just so I can get some amount of durability still. It's not your optimal amount of crit chance because I do still think I want Purifying Mace, especially with what Juff has been throwing at me. But I think I would rather run 40% crit with Maneki than not 40% crit with Maneki. Especially considering that both of my carries want to be crit and they want glory stacks. The next question is, do I go first or second? If I go first, I lead Rathops, Toad, plus a D... Or, no, I probably have to lead Tanuki. I lead, like, Rathops, Tanuki, plus a DPS. I protect on... I full protect on one with Tanuki doing, I don't know, I guess just setting up the Mass Restore to cleanse off any initial debuffs and spread a few random buffs around. And then alternatively, Blade Widow could apply some early buffs itself, but I think because we have Smoke Cloud, Smoke Screen, I'd rather go with that. Yeah, I think I'll go first. Definitely, I did mention this in the team build that, like, this feels like it's one comp where I'm just gonna flick monsters in and out, and that's definitely what we've kind of done. We tried the weird stuff in game one, it didn't work that well. with the blue frog plus fungi, but all right, host starts. I think I set the settings wrong last time because I think I wanted to go second and I think I put go first. Like a dum-dum. Which might have mattered. I don't remember. I definitely think I did, actually. We'll go back and see, but pretty sure I said I wanted to go second, and then I think I put host starts. Because neither of my other opponents have made me make lobbies, so I don't know whether it's supposed to be like loser makes the lobby or what, but usually it's felt like it's whoever's ready first makes the lobby. And I would have assumed that Juff was ready before I was, because I'm adjusting on the fly and everything. Alright, so let's see how this goes. What do we got? We got the same team as last turn. Okay, so I think this is Tanuki, Rathops, and I want to say Blade Widow is my better early game, because it can maybe get Azarak out of play. Although we also have a Brutus over here to deal with. And Brutus has Sure Strike, so that blind sack on it is doing absolutely nothing. Since it usually clicks big one-shot move. So this is probably heavy punch into my Blade Widow. Oh no, we are going to power focus. Okay, so I really need to try to get this thing down now. That's not where I wanted those to go. Okay. We got a Brutus problem, ladies and gents. Oh my god, that didn't even do remotely enough to kill an Azarak with 8 bleed stacks. Really? I was hoping that maybe I could just take the Azarak and trade. Because I don't think I could... I had no ways of getting the Brutus out. Oh. Wait, how did he... Oh, can't be dodged, but can miss. Oh, so it's that templating. Ah. I see. I thought it was can't miss, but I guess I'm wrong. Cool, cool. That is so many buffs. Sidekick agility. We kind of already have those. Okay. I'm not really sure who I'm supposed to go for here. I guess maybe I am just supposed to get this Azarac out of here while I can. And I do think that, in retrospect, I made the wrong play last turn. I should just be getting this Azarac out of here and ignoring this monkey. And now it bites me in the ass. Yep. I am not happy with the fact that my Sizzle Knight feels a little exposed here. Yeah, I needed to Zerg this Azarac down and get it out of here. I absolutely despise everything about this mon. Guaranteed. I mean, we're knocking 2 buffs off no matter what, so we might as well knock 2 buffs off of everybody. Come on! 26%, and there was like 4 dodges out of 5! Why does anybody play this game? Who thinks this is fun? Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. There's no skill here. It's just like, oh, my opponent got Nautilid Azarac. That's cool. I guess I'm never allowed to do anything. Because we have a self-perpetuating buff engine and a self-perpetuating your opponent can't actually play a game engine. Because 40% miss chances are completely fine. And my only option is to just try to bulldoze through it and hope I get lucky. If I wanted a fucking crippling gambling addiction, I would just go to a casino and waste all my money. This is actually just not fun. Yay. And yeah, we're just at a point where I literally can't win because Brutus is sitting there unchecked in the back. I'm done. We're done. I have no patience for this. This is just infuriating. There's no skill. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna call it like it is. If that's what a game can come down to, why bother? It's not even interesting gameplay. I'm literally just throwing everything at the screen in frustration, hoping something sticks. There's no interest in that, and like, I don't know. Maybe it's better when it's not a draft mode, but boy oh boy does it just feel like there's 5 mons at the top of triple S tier in draft mode that are just basically untouchable because all they do is stack blind to infinity and make your opponent unable to play the game because it's a gambling simulator. And if that actually extends in the proper team building, I actually have no interest in staying around this game because yeah, I mean, I want my decisions to matter, not my decisions to be basically coin flips at best. Yeah, this is... Sorry about tilting off, but games like that are why things like this don't take off. Monster Sanctuary could be an awesome thing to do PvP in, but the second somebody comes in and has a game like that, they're gone. Because nothing that I did mattered in that game. Because the entire game was based around my opponent imposing a 40% mischance that I had no counterplay to. There aren't even that many mons in the game that have something that actually counteracts blind and makes it so their first hit of their abilities can't miss. There are a few, but out of a roster of like 110, 111 mons, I'm pretty sure that number is in single digits. So, if you didn't bring one of those monsters who have their own downsides because they're all revolving around like one hit abilities, and so if they're crit and that one hit doesn't crit, they don't really do effective damage. If you need to like pivot, they can't combo build as well. So like they have their own disadvantages. And so like if you don't bring them, then you're just dealing with the frustration of getting blind spammed. And like, even if you have a 7-hit mover, if your opponent's putting 4 blind stacks on you, that's still 4 out of your 7 hits that can go into oblivion and do nothing. You just don't win a game when that's every single turn. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just... 2 out of my 3 rounds were basically decided by blind spam. And we're drafting out of a pool of 110 mons. If there's that much blind in the pool that it happened twice with different mons, then, like, there's a problem here. And I thoroughly don't think that the devs tested blind for PvP. Because I don't think that... I'm pretty sure PvP was an afterthought to the devs. Because there's no reason for blind to not be ridiculously heavily nerfed in PvP. But, yeah. I don't know. I don't enjoy a skill-based game when it feels like my decisions do not matter. And, that's what games 2 and 3 largely felt like. It felt like me finding close to the optimal decisions and even identifying mistakes that I probably made a couple times along the way with, like, I should have, targeted differently, kept on one kind of targeting set, maybe switched up who I was targeting, but it didn't matter in the end because everything I did was muddied by a 35 to 50% mischance. And, I mean, Azarac even more so complicates things by also having buff steal and also buffing when you miss. Because, yeah, we needed all that on one monster. I hate this piece of crap. I hate this piece of crap so much. Probably more than Targoat. Targoat is frustrating, but at least with Targoat, your hits hit. You just have to play around Targoat. Double up to break the protect lineup so that you can actually get your DPS to hit the target that you're intending. Focus down the Targoat. At least you can plan around Targoat. You can't plan that much around this guy because just you're gambling. This guy just turns the game into a gambling simulator. I got a lot more fun things I can do if I want to play a gambling simulator. So yeah, that's my rant gonna be dropping from the tournament. I'm sorry. I mean, I know my content has been fairly well received from the community so far. This video might not be because it's a little ranty here at the end. I did say that we were gonna be kind of, in some of the earlier videos, probably diagnosing how I felt about the PvP when I wrapped up. Like I mentioned, I've got my birthday coming up. I've got Hollow Fest to watch. I've got some big Magic tournaments I'm playing in. I've got the new Path of Exile League. I've just got a lot to do, and having to squeeze the round 5 draft, the draft and team build video, which you guys don't see it, but those videos, along with the like hour to hour and a half that they take to record, take me a few hours behind the scenes, clipping everything over from the wiki onto those data sheets to make them nice and presentable, planning, like, you know, not like an actual script, but just like notes that I want to hit on during the video. Obviously building my team out too takes an hour or two as I kind of figure out what I want to do with my mons. How do I want to spec them? How do I want to gear them? So that way all that's, you know, ready to present ahead of time when the video is getting recorded. So, you know, that whole process takes me 4 to 5 hours. So, you know, with the playtime, the match videos are about an hour or so. I know the Necromage one was a little longer because we had some really grindy games. You know, it's like a 6 to 7 hour commitment a week, basically, to continue. And I know I'm dead for the top cut anyways, because I would have had to win out to even have a chance, and we lost here. And this was the worst one by far. Like, I didn't even get a game here. I didn't even feel like I got close to a game. Like, Juff had 3 mons left or more every single game, so I don't know. This felt like my worst performance, but it felt like my best draft. And clearly, those things can't exist at the same time when I took a game in both of my other sets. Now, sure, round 1, I took a game off of clicking Gravity on Vertrag, but I think if you go back and look at the way that game was playing, I probably win without the Gravity triple kill anyways. Like, even if the Gravity only killed 1, I'm pretty sure I had all of the momentum in that game regardless, and it was like a full aging comp. So I feel like I was probably winning that game regardless of the Gravity. And then in the prior round, I mean, that was just a clean win. Like, I don't think Cairo was ready for me to shift from that debuff-focused team in Game 1 that underperformed to a very, very high-velocity offense team that just stacked up and got killing. And, yeah, I started slaughtering Cairo's mons one after the other with Goblin King, and they weren't ready for it. And yeah, I took that game pretty quickly, and then we had a slugfest back and forth with basically doing the same thing to each other. So, like, yeah, both of those felt way better, and I felt better about this draft, but didn't play out. And maybe it's just because Azarak, because that Game 1 felt pretty good. That Game 1 felt pretty back and forth, and that was with the worst comp. That was with the Dark Toad and the one thing that could apply poison, and Fungi went down, and I still kind of made half of a game out of it even after Fungi went down. But yeah, I don't know. This round definitely leaves a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. I do intend on coming back for the standard draft. Or I guess it's not draft. Standard teams. Since that will be more pick what you want to play and then ban something out. Meaning if I see an Azarak, I could tell that piece of crap to go sit on the bench. So yeah, I don't know. I do feel like if I run into like 3 blind teams during that, I'm just gonna tilt off the face of the planet, and you guys are never gonna see me again in the Monster Sanctuary PvP community. I'm just gonna go and start releasing videos for other games that I play. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's enough ranting. I think I need to detox my brain a little bit and just chill. Probably be talking a little bit in Discord. Definitely going to be a little venting in there, but I don't know. Definitely just felt bad. So, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully you guys don't hate this video because there's a 10-minute rant at the end about how I feel about some aspects of PvP, but if you do, I don't blame you. If you don't, that's cool too. With that, I will be signing out until, at least for Monster Sanctuary content. I don't know. I play a lot of Path, and that's always been kind of my problem as a content creator, is that the Path content creation space is maybe a little too flooded. So, but I may post some stuff with that. I may post some other stuff if I get into some other stuff along the way. But I am going to try to make YouTubing a little bit more of a regular deal. And then eventually, once I kind of figure out my life schedule a little bit, with work being a little stressful at the moment, I do want to get back to streaming over on Twitch, and I guess I might start duo streaming on YouTube as well. I mean, it looks to me like there's probably no reason not to anymore, especially because, boy howdy, do I not like some of the decisions that Twitch has made in the past, like, 5 years I haven't really been streaming. So, yeah. Definitely keep an eye out for my content. If you like my content overall and you are interested in some other stuff that I'm doing, just keep an eye on my channel. If you're waiting for Monster Sanctuary stuff exclusively, then you probably won't hear from me really until the next tournament starts, which is going to be the standard tournament. I will maybe try to get some impromptu sessions in where maybe I just do some recording, or maybe even a stream or so, just to like ease my way back into streaming, where I might do stuff like just like battling people and testing teams in the community, and just letting anybody come in, challenge. If they want to play against a specific team that I feel comfortable playing, I don't mind testing with them. If they want to offer a team up for me to test against, if I'm leaning a certain way, because I think it's going to be time for me to learn a bunch more standard teams, because Grid Draft, you need to use what you have. Standard teams, you're going to be a lot more focused, right? Like, instead of, oh, these bonds can do this thing that kind of overlaps, you're going to be like, I'm a channeling balance team, or I'm a dragon team. And so it's going to be time for me to learn a lot of that stuff. So yeah, I might, especially, I don't know how long this tournament's going to take to wrap up. And again, with the conflict of PoE coming up, I would like to maybe do that before that tournament starts, especially if I'm going to do like maybe a weekend stream where I can maybe fire up for like 4 to 6 hours and just hang out with people in the community, test, get feedback, learn some stuff. Obviously, I still have a lot to learn with this game. I'm not dismissing it completely based on a few grid drafts. I do think grid draft is one of those things where extreme outliers can ruin the experience, like heavy blind stacking off of really overpowered mons like Azarak and stuff like that, especially sitting next to a Nautilid of all damn things. Those can be outliers that ruin the experience. And I'm willing to accept that. And maybe I just don't like grid draft. Maybe things like Tanuki, Nautilid, and Azarak shouldn't be in the grid draft pool because they create non-games. And you see things like this in other games like Magic the Gathering. And you look at some of its formats like Duel Commander, for instance, where Duel Commander has a very curated ban list in the interest of removing non-games from the format. And what they do there is they do a lot of removing the really egregious fast mana like Soul Ring and Mana Crypt and like just the most effective high velocity fast starts, because if you and I are playing a 1v1 commander game with this special rule set and I open like Mana Crypt Soul Ring into a ramp spell or whatever, you know, on turn 1, and now on turn 2 I have 6 mana and you go like land drop Mana Dork or something and you have 2 mana on turn 2, well, now on the next turn I'm plus 4 mana. But now on turn 3 I'm plus 8. Now on turn 12 I'm plus, or turn 3 I'm plus 12. Like, the amount of advantage you get from that basically snowballs to a level that is effectively unwinnable and creates a game of Magic that was not a game of Magic. And I feel like Azarak can definitely have that effect in this game, where when your opponent just has to deal with coin flips the entire game, is it really a game? Would you ever play anything like this kind of a game if your opponent had a button that literally made everything you do a coin flip? Would you opt into an experience where there was anything in the game that like said all of your actions are a coin flip? No, you wouldn't, because nothing you do matters at that point. Go play Clover Pit if you want gambling. Like, that's the point. So I do think that potentially certain mons should be out of the pool because of the experience that they create in an environment where players have no control over what appears and what synergies will be available and what counterplay will be available. Because when Azarak appears, if there was no counterplay to Azarak in the draft, all that matters is who has first pick on that pack. Did we have fun? Did we play? Did we make decisions? No. No, we did not. And for the people who have hundreds of hours of PvP experience and can find really nuanced ways to deal with things, maybe they're willing to accept that and try to navigate muddied waters. But for people who are less experienced, who don't have that nuanced decision making, who don't understand how to find those lines, they don't want to come back. They just had the worst game of their life. They had no fun. They felt like nothing they did mattered. And therefore, they're not going to sign up for the next grid draft. And that is more important. Weeding those experiences out cultivates growth. rather than holding on to them because the grizzled veterans who know everything can play through it and you just gotta get good. No, fuck that thinking. Remove toxicity from the equation. Random stuff that applies blind, like Sizzle Knight, can get some access to it, or Mons that can't toxically spam it like Azarac, and Azarac compounds it even worse with martial prowess and buff stealing on top of that to just make it even harder for you to really develop while not able to play the game. But experiences like that aren't worth anything, in my opinion. And I'm bringing this as somebody who has decades, maybe a little facetious to say it like that, but it is technically over 2 decades of competitive gaming experience. I've played competitive Magic for 20 years. I got my start back in Mirrodin Kamigawa, which was one of the most fucking toxic formats known to mankind, because we banned like 7 damn cards out of Affinity during that format. Removing outliers and removing things that create very negative play experiences is a net gain. And if it means removing 5 out of 111 Mons out of the draft pool, that's probably for the better. I think it would create a lot more interesting dynamics in the drafts, because nothing feels worse than you going back and forth in like picks 1, 2, and 3 with your opponent, and you've definitely got something like debuffy cooking, and then your opponent gets to pick one Tanuki, and you're just like, well, shit. I now have to steer really hard. I now have to look at these debuff-focused Mons and figure out what non-debuff-related things that they can do. And, you know, I didn't get a say in the matter. Tanuki just showed up and my opponent had first pick. They didn't have an option to take it away so that my opponent couldn't get it or anything like that, right? Do we need that? Does that improve the experience? Those are the questions we need to ask ourselves. Does Nautilid existing make the game better? Come on. Now, I think we can all generally accept that Nautilid is horrendously overpowered. That mon is cracked beyond belief. Does that thing existing improve the format overall in draft, when it's literally who has first pick in the packet shows up? Are you ever taking a line or column that doesn't involve Nautilid if you're first pick in that pack? Probably not. It doesn't matter what comp you're playing, you're putting Nautilid in. It's just that good. Does that... Are things better? Probably not. So, I think culling a few Mons out of the draft pool would probably improve the experience overall. And that's just my opinion. And I will voice that in chat, because I assume not everybody in the Discord watches my videos. But I do think that's a discussion, and maybe, if need be, people can, like, clip out this section or whatever and highlight it in the Discord if they want to. But I do think that, like, there are ways to improve the overall grid draft experience. And I'm not saying that as just somebody who's salty tilting off, right? I generally feel like the amount of counterplay available to Azarac is not equivalent to the amount of power that Azarac has. If there were more numerous and more effective counters, fine. But I think both of those are lacking. Nautilin and Tanuki, they're both dumb. They're both over the line. There's a reason they're some of the first 2 mons banned in any banned format. So, like, the fact that Tanuki can show up and validate your opponent's debuff comp, wow, that was fun. Super glad we did that in the draft, right? Nautilid just showing up, and it's just a brain dead first pick. You literally would never not click a line with that thing. Like, that's like a challenge achievement of just like see Nautilid and not take it and let your opponent take it instead. Like, that's just you trying to play hard mode. But yeah, I've now ranted for another 10 minutes after doing a kind of a sign off, because that's how my brain works, apparently. So with that, I will actually sign off. As I said before, Monster Sanctuary content will tentatively not come back until the next tournament, unless we do one of those kind of community playtesting, let's learn, let's try out different teams kind of deals, which I do want to do. Like I said, this is not my goodbye. I'm going to stick around. I'm going to try proper constructed and see if maybe I can have a little bit more fun there. Maybe draft just isn't my thing. If you're looking for other gaming content related to other stuff that I play, keep an eye on my channel. I'm not trying to break my channel down into other channels, because that would be stupid right now while I have like 15 followers and like 9-10 videos up. So we're just going to post everything here. I'll make playlists for all my different games, so that way it's easy to navigate around and find what you want. But yeah, we're going to be probably doing some Path of Exile. Maybe I'll do Terraria stuff once Path winds down a little bit on the next league. I know a couple friends and I are planning on doing Zenith World in vanilla. So, or maybe we'll do mod with like some light quality of life mods like Magic Storage or whatever. So maybe we'll do that. And I know there's some other games that are coming out that I'm interested in. Oaken Tower should be hitting official early access soon. I like my auto battlers, so you'll definitely see that. Maybe I get back into TFT at some point and jam some TFT. Who knows? I don't know. I got my eyes on the new Pokemon, but that does require me buying a Switch 2, which I don't want to do right now. So, yeah, but I do want to get that, but I've got gripes with competitive Pokemon and the fact that they expect you to commit a full-time job's worth of time just to build a damn team. Although maybe Pokemon Champions solves that. So maybe we'll go down that rabbit hole too. I play some Diablo 2, Diablo 4 on occasion as well. So definitely you'll see a bunch of stuff on my channel. But for right now, that is the end of Grid Draft for me. I'm going to go drop from the tournament. Effectively 0-3. I'm not counting a bye. I don't really count buys aside of trying to make top cuts, because I don't get a choice in counting them there. The best draft I thought I had might have been the worst. I don't know. Tell me in the comments where I went wrong. I got no clue here what I did wrong this week, but that's going to be me signing out. I will see you guys on whatever the next video is, whether it's Monster Sanctuary or something else, and take care. Peace.